I don't have all that much time before I gotta hop onto a call for one of the project kickoffs. So that's it's very exciting for that to be the reason for the call. But sorry, just double check something. Couple things. Firstly, well, today's been awesome. Today's just been really nice because I feel like I've honestly been pretty productive. I had good calls that were important. I felt like they were, at least for the most part, useful. And then I hopped into work and I just got things done on my to-do list. Now I still have a ways to go, honestly, because today is completely packed. But so far it's been good. And I've felt energized. I think that's been the nicest thing, which is just like I haven't been beating on myself, whatever. A couple things that I've been thinking about just today specifically. I've been keeping my goals in mind a lot because I think it's really important to kind of remind yourself what North Star, basically just eyes on the prize kind of thing. Like if you focus on it, your odds of getting it are definitely a lot higher. But I also have to balance that by also because thinking about the goal every day should not mean that you think about a new strategy to do the thing every day. Like you've defined a strategy and just do it. If your goal is to get fit and every day you think about this goal to try and stay on track, but then every day you create a new strategy, new workout, and 1 week you're doing swimming, the next you're doing gymnastics, the next you're doing yoga, whatever else, you're really not going to get all that far because you keep switching strategy and whatever. And I haven't done that, but as I was kind of reminding myself of the things I'm doing, it's like, okay, I'm going to work really hard to hit this goal, blah, blah, blah. I realized part of myself was getting a little bit anxious and being like, oh, what should I do? What should I do? Which is my natural response, right? It's like, the thing is you probably know what to do. You just got to execute on it. And I just took stock of that a little bit. I think that was a really useful reflection. It's just like, if you want to stay on track to the goal, like obviously you have to think about it every day, especially if it's a big goal, right? If you're an ant climbing a mountain, you can't be zigzagging. Otherwise you will take way longer. And some will zigzag because they don't think about it enough. And so it just becomes back of mind and they let it go and they forget about it. But on the other side of that spectrum, if you constantly think about it and you're not careful and you start strategizing every day and you come up with different strategies every day, but you never get around to implementing them, you're not going to get all that far. At least this is something I think. Another thing, I was just watching one of my videos. I mean, sometimes I chat shit, basically. Like sometimes, I don't know. I think take everything you hear with a grain of salt. That includes the things that I say. I don't know what it was that I was talking about, but I was just like, yeah, just like anybody else, right? Like, no, the world around you is built by people no smarter than you. That's Steve Jobs. And so keep that in mind and don't put people on pedestals. Take everything people say with a grain of salt. Even you. Even yourself sometimes. Even what you've told yourself in the past, things like that. I also had a little reflection that I thought it'd be nice to just record. But I was thinking about how to strike the balance between sharpening your axe and using it. I think previously I've complained how, the 16-step morning routines aren't going to get you there because they're not. And I think Hormozy has been a big preacher of this thing of just get to work. Just don't, skip the cold shower, sauna, plunge, twist, twirl, yoga, meditate, journal, gratitude, Yeah, skip that stuff and then just get to work and you'll get so much more done. I think there's a balance between that and that, that's just using your axe, right? It's just hack away at the fucking tree. But on the other hand, you also have, there is scientific research basically behind the whole sauna and the ice plunge and all this and that. Now, you don't have to do everything because if you do everything, you're going to spend all your time sharpening your axe and You're going to spend none of that time hacking away at the tree that you're trying to cut down. And so you're not going to get really far. On the other hand, you can sit at the other extreme and just hack away at the tree. And I don't know, like, I don't know how sharp, well, you're actually just basically get really blunt. It's like, I think different people have different natural limits and tendencies, whatever else. And it's like driving a car and just ignoring the fact that you might need to stop for petrol at some point and just keep driving, you'll go faster. It's like, yeah, but if you don't refuel every once in a while, you're not going to get that far. All this just to say, like, I think there are two schools of thought right now. There's like this, like, over prepared, like super supplemented, like all these things, right? Like, which are essentially almost crutches, right? Like, there are all these things that people use, and what, they got to do the cold plunge and they have the supplement before and the electrolytes after, and then this and then that, and like there's that over prepared kind of side, and then there's the other side of the just do it type discipline, like just hammer your way through whatever. Now, I think it's important just to recognize, like, just whatever works best for you. And I think most people don't stop to think about what actually works best for them. Most people just do whatever is the latest hack that's being passed around in the internet. And take a look at Alex Hormozi and Ray Dalio. Hormozi is almost definitely going to become a billionaire. He's doing great things. And his thing is just do it. Ray Dalio, on the other hand, has said, like, publicly, meditation is one of the best things he added to his life because it let him, do the things he needs to do. Like, and they took totally different paths to the wealth that they have, whatever. Like, it doesn't, the point is, you have to solve your own puzzle, not somebody else's. And I don't think most people take the breathing time to think about those things. And, for me, the things like meditation, I think, would have made a really big difference the past couple of weeks. And now, I'm only I know that gratitude has made a tangible difference in my energy, in my just contentness in general, whatever. Yeah. And the same way that, like, for other people, maybe that's not, but the point is experiment over years, not months and weeks. Just continuously experiment, and the good shit sticks. If something's actually really useful to you, you will know. The thing is, you have to genuinely try it with conviction for a couple months. When I started doing gratitude, I just did it because I said that I was going to do it, and I just did it for the sake of, like, going through the motion for 3 months, and I felt nothing. It didn't change anything for me. But only after that, like 6 months later, did I really start to see that I was noticing way more small things. And that was because the way I did it, and I still do it now, is, well, starting again. Basically, I just think about whatever I had in my day, and I just go through and I think about deliberately pick 3 moments or so, 2, 3, whatever, that I really enjoyed or that I really appreciated. And I get very specific. It's not like, oh, I'm grateful for food on my table, shelter over my head. It's like, these things, yes, but it doesn't force you to reflect on your day. And I basically just observed the little things. I think that tree and that walk was really nice. I really loved that work that I did right after dinner. It just felt amazing, like whatever it is. So 3 specific moments. And it really forces you to think about what you did in your day, right? Because those 3 things don't just jump out at you. You have to think, okay, I woke up, then I did this. Was that really enjoyable? Was that a highlight? Was it not? And only later did I start to realize just how much of an impact it had. And yeah, like, it's a very real thing, and I can attest to it. But maybe you do it for 6 months and it doesn't do anything for you, and in that case, great, do something else. Like, just find whatever works for you. Just be willing to test and try. And yeah, like, I think I saw something online about, like, I don't know, I think some people believe that you have to grind it out and for years do nothing else, have no fun, do nothing, just breathe productivity. You don't have to do that. Like, I mean, if you smoke and drink every day until 4 a.m, yeah, you're probably not going to get super far. But you can have time and seasons where, you know, you're somewhere like I'm going to Madeira, spending a week there. I was in London. Like I travel a lot. I travel a really fair amount, and I'm still growing my business. Still, like, still doing the things. They're still getting done. You do have to be just hyper. Like you do have to compensate for certain things. Like that does come with certain drawbacks. It will be harder, for example, to maintain certain routines. Like, you know, you have to be very vigilant of the habits that you want to keep when you move to a new place. Sometimes those habits will break. Like there are challenges that come with that territory. It's not the same as staying in one place, definitely, but it's just to say that it is possible and that you don't need to be miserable for years in order to. At least I don't believe that. And another thing is like just make sure you take stock when you're actually living the dream, because I would say I'm looking back at things now. I would say I'm living like I literally decided that I was going to go to Madeira. I decided and booked it because I can. No, like I don't need to ask. I can, and I did. And that freedom is something that I spoke of a lot when I was starting out, especially. I actually at one point I had this performance coach for a little while, and she was asking, "Oh, what's the goal? Like what's the ultimate vision?" I was like, I want to build a company, and like there's something about building a team I really like, and then also I want the freedom of being able to decide, like just being able to go on spontaneous trips. I think that's something that really I'd like to do. And she was actually the first person who pointed it out. It's like you're pretty much there. And like in many ways I have a long way to go because I want to build bigger things. But at the same time, like I've made my life into what I want it to be. And I genuinely believe anybody can do that. Like it takes time, it takes years, don't get it wrong, but it is absolutely a possibility. And like there's still things that I want to change, absolutely. I am that kind of person with like this undying thirst for more, but just appreciate it throughout. Like where I am right now is literally where like the best place I wanted to be. So yeah, just those have been some reflections from recently, from literally earlier today. Oh my god, my Slack's not working. Please work, please work, please work. Oh, come on. Fucking piece of shit. If Slack breaks down, my business dies. It's not working. Why is it not letting me? What? Come on. Reply. What? Why am I not logged? Why is it not letting me log in? Oh, reload required. Okay, well. All right. So the assistant of my client has said, blah, blah, blah. Amazing. We're hired. They send, okay, payments are bi-weekly. That's good. Screenshot, okay. What? How do I hide report? Okay, so this is just me doing actual work now. I'm just gonna let you into. Oh my days! Wow, they have a pretty good onboarding flow. I could definitely learn something from these guys. And like, I don't know how big is the team, but maybe 20 people. All right, so excited to have you part of blah 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 family again. Send your okay. Birthday. Why do they want my birthday? Okay, they want my birthday. I mean, I'm acting as an integrated team member for this particular client, so should I do? Okay. GitHub. They want my GitHub. I don't like sharing my GitHub. Telegram. Do I share my Telegram? Actionables. Edit your Slack profile to fill blah, blah, blah. Introduce yourself in. Please add your Sharky email to GitHub. Oh, can you add? Oh, I feel like such an idiot. Oh, I have to join call. Hold on. I'm so confused. Am I going to join as a new user? Because I've been on this Slack space previously. Well, this I feel like this part's really not very fun to watch because this is just like you need context to understand what I'm doing, and I can't obviously share everything they're sharing with me because privacy concerns. Client confidentiality. Learn all about it at minthouse.dev. So what do I actually need to do? Oh, I got to log in with their details, don't I? Okay. Gmail logins. Oh, they want me to add a new Gmail to my browser because I didn't already have enough. To be fair, I don't mind it. I keep thinking about putting more money in crypto right now. But then I'm like, should I really? Because I have other things to invest in. But then I'm also like, FOMO, I want in, all those things, all of the above, you know? Anyway. Change the names of your other Slack profiles. How does she want me to change my name if... Can I edit? Okay. Can I? Oh. Oh, my client's shown that there's this one other client who, I mean, we delayed things and he's just been an absolute legend. And I've just said, really, really, really sorry. How do I leave? How many engineers does it take to figure out how to leave a Slack organization? How? Because right now I do not. Companies you've connected to. How do you disconnect? Customize, manage connections. Here we go. Slack is finicky sometimes. Okay, Flamade. We can connect. Yeah. Oh, did I just dox myself? Please sign in. Settings. Okay, these guys. Disconnect. Disconnecting. Okay, these guys I can disconnect as well. These guys I can disconnect as well. Okay, happy days. I've disconnected. So that should be solved. Oh, I have to reply in like 15 different directions on my days. Okay. How do I join? Hold on. Edit your Slack profile, blah, blah, blah. How do you want me to edit my Slack profile if sign into another workspace? But I don't want to sign into another. What? Oh, I'm so confused. Sign in with work email. Okay, let's use the new email my client gave me. Sign in with email. Oh, no. Can we sign in with Google? It's too late for that. All right, let's open up Gmail, find the verification code that Slack sent me to my brand new organization email, which I'm very excited about. Oh, update on the Bluetooth stuff, by the way. Welcome to Gmail. Yeah, great. Okay, can I just have my verification code? Thank you. Bluetooth, I hired an engineer who's a specialist because I'm not going to have enough time to figure this stuff out. The hardware guys were using MAC addresses to connect the devices. This is a bunch of like technical jargon, so it doesn't really matter, but they were using MAC addresses to connect to basically limit the devices that it would connect to, the physical device. And that doesn't work because iOS changes your MAC address for privacy reasons, and Android is starting to do that as well. And so it doesn't work. The system obviously is not going to work because I didn't realize the engineer didn't know that limitation and was using that. He sent some email where he explained how he was using that, like how he was using MAC address, but I don't think I caught it. And then now he's having to change things and implement two services instead of one that's open that you write a PIN code to with BLE write, and then the other one only unlocks when you write the correct PIN code, so that only our app can connect to these specific devices from the specific manufacturer because it's the company's device. You don't want anybody connecting, whatever. And that is just like, now I'm waiting on him. The guy I hired, I already paid him 50% up front because I hired him just for this job. So I really need him to pull through. This job cannot last until Madeira. Madeira, I go there on the 25th. The 21st is my dead stop because I have somebody coming. So my girlfriend specifically. Why? Oh, join Slack. Let's go. João, can you email me? No, absolutely not. Do not send me your tips. I don't want them. Open Slack. Yes, please. It works. It works. Amazing. Okay, this is exciting. Hey. Thanks. All right, then I have to, okay, how are my days? Show here, so I'll send them again. One, full name. The full name is going to be João Ana Matos. My birthday is going to be something private. Address. I would also like to keep that for myself. Well, I'm giving them the Singapore one, so. Okay. My GitHub. Do I really want that? No. Okay, no, fine, I'll add it. I'll give it to them. No, because this is going to be in the whole organization, so I don't know if I want to give them my Telegram, my phone number, fine. Actionables. Please edit your Slack profile. Fill out the fields. Introduce yourself. I've done that. Add your Sharky email to Pro. Okay. Set up configuration for this. Oh my God. This onboarding process it's actually nice. Slack, Linear, Notion. They've really got this. Okay, my dog's barking. Oh boy. Anyway, that's a wrap for the time being. I'm going to hop into the call, which should start now. And yeah. All right. I was actually about to do a little private voice memo. I do those sometimes. Like it's a habit, right? reflexive habits. That's what I used to do instead of these recordings. And then I caught myself. I was like, no, make it a recording instead, right? Because basically, I was just pacing around thinking a little bit because I've been programming for the last couple hours, and one of the key reflections I've been having is like, what gives me energy, what doesn't? Because I think like, the earlier I can outsource the things that drag me, that I find or I'm dragging my feet in. And basically, it's like I need to double down on what I'm best at. And I don't think that is necessarily like programming per se. For me, it's really a means to an end. And that's the part that I find interesting. And so hence the hiring spree. But like the fact I haven't found anyone has just been really annoying. And with the recent clients, like I'm just thinking like, how the hell am I going to, like, I have to make it the best experience I've ever had. And I got to do it for everybody. And I'm just worried because it's a lot of work, and I'm just trying to figure out how to make it all make sense, how to make the math add up. Like, all right, so I'm gonna number these clients, trying to remember them. One of them is paying me a really small retainer. One of them is paying a really small retainer. And honestly, the amount of work is getting close to the other clients. It's like not worth it. They're literally, when I say really small, I'm talking like a quarter of my other clients' retainers. I like them as a company, and they signed on with me, much earlier on. Still not that early on. Like they've still been the lowest client in terms of pay per hour, probably the lowest. And the thing is, like, I know it's relatively stable, whatever. Okay, well, there's them. I need to ship something for them. I wanted to ship it tonight. I didn't get around to it. There's this other guy. I don't know. Maybe I'm just stressing too much. I just got to get back to it. I think that's it. Oops. I'm just trying to overthink myself out of work, which would be lovely, but the work's not going to do itself. So, yeah, I'm just going in circles to end up at the same conclusion, which is, the things have to be done. But at the same time, I don't want to be like, you have to tread this fine line because you can't spend all your time fulfilling and thinking about that, because otherwise also you can't take care of the rest of the business. You can't spend time on other things. And I want to hit certain goals. I want to push for, like, there's a specific goal in April actually that I'm really, really pushing toward, which encompasses the wider year-long goal. But one of my biggest issues, and especially last year, is that, like, the year still feels very young. It's February, it's March, whatever. It's the start of the year. No. Like, the year's going to go by really fast. And if you don't extrapolate what those goals require on a monthly basis and start hitting those ones, you're never going to get there. And what I saw was, like, basically, by April, I need to hit a milestone in terms of revenue numbers if I want to be on track, or at least relatively on track for that end of year goal. And I'm just like stressing about how am I going to make that happen? All this stuff. I have to do more stuff for like case studies. I have to go to more events. I have to just be more I have to exist in more places. I have to do all of the above. Like, I have to spend more time in business development kind of functions, but at the same time, I have to be doing the best job ever for the existing clients. Like, that is the number one requirement. And so my head's just going in circles thinking, how the hell am I going to do all of this? How the hell, like, the to-do list never gets done. That's literally, my daily situations. I never get all of my to-do list done. Actually, there's this one thing. This has been something with me for years, but people ask me, like, how much work do you have? How much work do you have today? How much work do you have left? I don't have an answer for that. Like, I haven't had an answer since I was like 15, 14, and I just started building stuff on the side. And there's always more stuff that I wanted to do. Like, I just had this, unextinguishable list of to-dos and want-to-dos and ideas and whatever else. Like, I don't know that, and it's not to say that I'm, there are times where I'm not going to be working. I'll be doing something useless. It's not to say that I'm like always on that to-do list. It's just when people ask me if I'm working and they're like, oh, how much work do you have left? It's like, I don't know, just until I get tired of it, until I go to sleep or whatever. Like, it just, there's no end to that list. There's no end in sight. I don't think I've ever gone through my to-do list in a day and be like, well, that's it for the day. I'm done. It's really more a case of like, I don't know, I'll do what I can until, let's say I have a dinner, I'll be like, I'll work what I can until 6 p.m. and then be like, okay, well, that's a wrap. I'm not going to do any more because I'm going out to this thing. But it's not on the basis of the number of items I have to do. It's just like until a certain time, until basically something else stops me or I get tired or whatever. That's just a reflection from like a lot of people ask me that, and I don't know, but it never really made, like, it just didn't compute in my head. Like, I just don't think like that. I don't know if anybody else does. Anyway, back to the main issue I have, which is how the hell am I going to make this work? How am I going to be in like 16 different places at once? My main thinking is I need to develop, like, basically, like, I'm going to be working overtime for a little while because these two clients just signed on. And while I have a new hire, well, potentially, like, we'll see. I'll train him. And if he's good, he's good. If he's not, that's okay. But, like, I don't have somebody who I can trust with a new client yet. And so I have to take both of these immediately myself and basically be working double shifts. But then I have to kick one out as soon as possible. And the other one also kick at least some of the work out. And that's basically the situation. And I'm a little bit anxious to get one of them off my plate. Like, can I do it? Is it going to work? Is it not going to work? It's all pretty scary. But I think it's just the thing is, I keep telling myself it's just like 1 week of pushing through things, but then the next week comes and there's more stuff to do. But it is what it is. I just have to double down, make sure I don't let that client fulfillment falter. And it's hard. It's really hard, specifically in development as well, because it's a really hard balance of a lot of different things in terms of like managing timeline, managing expectations, managing also the features that you want to ship. There's always stuff that pops up, whether it's bugs or extra things you didn't think about and you're like, oh, I'd like that too. The list goes on. But also you don't want to like overcharge people and just like keep billing and billing. Like, that's horrendous as well. In terms of, I mean, you like, if they expand scope, yes, you charge, but I don't know. There's this weird thing you have to tread two lines. Basically, what I'm saying is own up to your mistakes. Like, if you should have shipped something that was pretty obvious in the draft, don't charge for it. Even if it wasn't super clear, but like you knew that you should have done it, but then you didn't quite, just don't charge for it and say, I'm sorry. I took that, totally blew past my head, but it should have been an expectation from the get-go. I'll totally take responsibility for it. Like, I think that's, I don't know. I've done that with a couple clients, and it goes a hell of a lot better than charging. But yeah. All right. So the one I'm doing tonight, I want to finish and ship. Tomorrow, I have to finish and ship another thing, a data thing. But my backend guy didn't deploy the API like today as he was meant to, and I'm a little bit stressed about that because I have to present a demo tomorrow. That's not super fun. No, that's not fun at all, actually. Oh boy. What else? Other fun stuff is then, and those two that I have to finish and ship are the clients that aren't. Yeah, oh my God. How am I going to make this work? Okay. I don't want to be, like, damn. Maybe I should do some live streaming. Live streaming would keep me in the chair for longer. Who knows? Maybe I'd find it fun because I can narrate my thought process while I code. I wouldn't want to dox things though for my clients, but no, that's probably fine. Maybe I should start live streaming. Yeah, that'd be funky. That might be a good solution, frankly. I gotta figure out a way to make stuff work. Anyway, I'm just thinking in circles. I don't think this is productive at all. So I'm gonna go back, try and ship the thing. I'm gonna record some videos. Hopefully, that's something that my editor asked. Well, he said he's finishing one by tomorrow, and so I got to record some more. And so I'm gonna make that happen, and then tomorrow I have to be up really early. It's like 1 a.m. right now, and I have to be up by 7, which isn't super fun, but oh well. He who runs for fun doesn't get tired. Geen kocht voor slanken. So my favorite saying, probably, I'd say. Okay, but that I'm gonna call it a day for now, and just try and ship that thing for my client by the end of the night, and really pray I don't have to touch it again. But the thing is, I probably will. I should probably make peace with that. So yeah, and then tomorrow I have to work to ship another thing. Anyway, this work goes up front so that later, hopefully, it can be more hands off. Another thing I'm really thinking about is like, I really need to find a team that meshes together well, especially in an agency and in the development context. Like, I mean, if somebody's outsourcing an entire project to you, like, yeah, basically the only way in which an agency needs a team that works super well, specific, like that team specifically, that group of people works well together. The whole idea is like you want to make a business where the whole is greater than the sum of the constituents, right? Like the sum of the parts. If your agency is just a bunch of random people who don't really work particularly together, and if you separate them, they work just as well, then you're not, there's not really, you're not adding a whole lot of value by bringing them together. Whereas if you bring together a team of people that like specifically work super well, then an agency I think becomes more interesting. Anyway, maybe I'm stressing a bit too much, worried about so many different things. How the hell am I gonna just get better at what I do? I suppose that's probably the solution. Yeah. And just focus on like React stuff. Basically be the people that you can go to hire in 24 hours and get quality work done. I think there's definitely a space in the market for that. I know this because I could have used that. Jesus, I absolutely could have used some of that. But anyway, yeah. So I'm gonna go back to work and try and stop overthinking my way in circles, which I tend to do a lot. It goes back to that thing of like I will default to strategic thinking. But I've set aside Saturday for that. I've had a couple things that I've wanted to think about, and I've deliberately put Saturday as my like kind of reflection day, just piece together where I'm going, stuff like that. So that's been useful to not give myself an excuse to think about things now. But I'm gonna go back to execution mode for the rest of the week. That's the plan. It's only Monday, so got some more days to go. Well, a couple things since it's been like an hour since I last recorded, not even that maybe. Anyway, I did not get nearly as much done as I wanted. Case in point of the to-do list never finishing, but I did not manage to deploy things just because there's a missing ID for something. The API doesn't return it, and I'm not going to be able to solve it right now. I'm going to be up early tomorrow, and I'm just trying to manage like everything. Like I don't know how it's going to fit in together. I didn't record as well. I actually thought about recording. And then the last time that I basically forced myself to record late at night, like, code or writing something, it doesn't care how tired you are. Now, when I record myself and I'm tired, I mean, I'm vlogging now, like reflecting, I don't really care. But the made for the internet videos, like I want to at least put some more effort into it, and to record it this time after this much of a long day, I don't think it's a good idea. Last time it was like so exceedingly obvious that I was like really tired and I don't want to do the same thing. So I'm going to call it a night. I'm going to go to sleep. Tomorrow morning, like there's this dashboard that I have to deliver before a call that I have at 4 p.m. I mean, to be fair, before 4 p.m. is doable, but that time swings around. It always swings around so much faster than you plan. That's like, before you know it, it's 3:30 and you haven't done anything. So I am like hyper aware of that. But specifically what I'm worried about is not that deadline, but the fact that I cannot just wake up and work on it because my backend lead has not deployed the API for it. And that leaves me without an API to use. And the whole point is that the API would be done by now, but it has not. Um, so that's a bit of a sticky situation that I got to figure out. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not sure how I'm gonna handle that one. Also, they asked for some stuff. They were like, "We want these things before March 26th." And I was like, "Before March 26th? March 26th is when your contract renews. Are you saying that you want to cancel the contract?" That thought crossed my mind. I'd hope they don't want to cancel. But then again, they're the lowest paying, and I need room for other clients. So it's not the worst thing in the world if they cancel, because I can spend more time on other things. So as like that's the biggest thing is you also to some extent have to prioritize your clients and whatever. Anyway, also earlier I was talking about how programming, maybe it's a means to an end. Sometimes I drag my feet when I'm doing it. It's not even that. It's just I'm doing the boring work, and that part is definitely, well, it's boring. That's the whole point. Nobody wants to do it, and that's the biggest thing. Like as a founder, when there's something that no employee in the company wants to do, and everybody's dragging their feet, the one person who's gonna have to pick it up and do it is you, the founder. I know this just because I tried to get a person on the team to do the Bluetooth stuff. It didn't work. Tried my backend guy, didn't work. Like it's just they'll end up dragging their feet as well. As like you can't expect them to have the same amount of commitment as you. So you at the end of the day have to pick up the ugly stuff and work with it. And sometimes that just means a lot of boring work. And yeah, I mean for me, I find conversations and things like that really energizing, and I like being in meetings all day. Like that is something I like a lot. But to get to the point where I can do those meetings all day, like I have to build stuff first. And so it's just part of the process. And you have to be willing to take the good with the bad with the good. Like this is what lets me do the things that I want. It's what lets me book the trips when I want, etc. Do all those nice things, fun things. Basically live the dream. So yeah. I'm gonna go to sleep. I think the other reason I'm going to sleep, I should have done this earlier. This is just a reflection in general, but I'm slowly becoming more sensitive to this point, this like kind of not boiling point, but there's a point beyond which if I keep working, I sacrifice productivity from the next day. So and I felt that hitting. So basically what that point hits when if I overexert myself, if I overextend the productivity hours that I have today, and then specifically because I'm sleeping little, right? So I'm sleeping less. So if I overextend myself today in terms of focus, like mental energy, and the amount that I sleep, tomorrow that's going to hit. Or if it's not tomorrow, whatever. Like basically I build up a debt. And that debt is not very useful. It's more well, at least in my experience, like, if you like, I mean, it's natural to have debt cycles in some way. But if you want to work really hard one day, then drop everything the next, sure, do that. But for me, I have calls with like I have to balance things out a little bit. And I know that if I just push insanely hard, I'm not going to do overall the best work, because as I get more tired, like the work quality also decreases, whatever. If I just push senselessly, I'm not going to get more done. It's just going to take more out of me, but the output won't be as good. Even though I might be able to technically check things off a list, the output just won't be as good. And so I have to ride that fine line. And sometimes, like, I think I have to get more sensitive between choosing the moments when to stop and when to continue. Sometimes I stop too early. Sometimes I think this tonight is an example of I should have stopped earlier. Like an hour ago when I got up and I basically went to do something else, I went to like clean something in my room, whatever. I was like, oh, I'll just take a little break and then I'll get back to it. No, I haven't got back to it. I then came downstairs. I went to eat something. I did this thing. Like I replied to some emails. I did anything but the actual work that I needed urgently to do, because the active, at least this is in my experience, but like this is the same reason why Pomodoro doesn't work for me. Because if I get into a flow state doing something, I can't do that for 25 minutes, leave the thing for 5 minutes and then come back. The activation energy to return back to that flow state is too high. Usually the biggest problem is starting, at least for me. It's like the biggest problem is starting the tasks. Once I'm in them, it's not hard to continue because you've surpassed the activation energy threshold. But to start and stop is like the worst. And this is actually often the case with developers, people who do that kind of focus work is like, and this is why meetings suck for developers, because if your day is constantly interrupted, for you to get back into the flow, it takes a lot of energy and time. And so this is also why I don't tend to program in hour and a half slots. Like, you will rarely find me doing development work in those slots unless I'm really under pressure. And even then, rarely is it as productive. And this goes back to the maker schedule versus builder schedule. I don't know who wrote that, if it's an essay, if it's not, it's like some Silicon Valley type idea. And I think it just fundamentally gets at something very true, which is they are very different. They engage very different processes of your focus in your brain in terms of like lots of meetings or lots of focus work. And you need to cut things out for those to make time for those. And you have a relatively limited number of focus hours per day. And I don't know where I was going with that. I completely lost track of thought, but I think my point was, like, what was I saying? Darn my days. Just, like, I think you have to manage that and work with that limitation in mind. You will not be able to just work indefinitely. Oh yeah, it's because I interrupted myself. That was the thing. That was why. Like, I decided to interrupt myself. I told myself it was okay to take a break. Absolutely wasn't. And once I did that, I should have known, like, there's no way I'm gonna go back now. There's just zero possibility. I should have just called it a night and went to sleep and gotten the extra, maybe hour of sleep that I would have from just avoiding this whole like hovering around for a little bit longer thinking I'll go back to work. Like, that was absolutely useless. I think there is an art in knowing when to stop, and it's a skill I'm still honing in on. And it comes back to that thing, like, you have to balance this. Like, you want to squeeze as much juice as you can out of every single day, but you also have to be aware that sometimes if you over squeeze on today, you will take juice from tomorrow. And if you carry that on, you squeeze tomorrow really hard, whatever, you take it from the next day or the next week, like, that debt builds up and it will get back to you. So you can't indefinitely just do that. It eventually builds up in one way or another, whether that's in your, health deterioration or just being depressed or feeling completely like, yeah. So there's all those things, and I don't intend on having any of them. So that's definitely something that is a bit of a skill to work on. But I would say today was mostly a really good day. Like, I felt focused and productive, especially for the start of the day. And definitely when I got back, it was a little bit more tiring. I can feel that. I think if I had called it a day at like 1, if I had kept working until 1 and then went to sleep, I think I would have been really quite happy with that. I think the prospect of a lot of boring work that I have to do for the next week makes me want to drag my feet a little bit. But I think the Monk and Ferrari book, Monk Who Sold His Ferrari thing, has me revisiting really important ideas that help me just take it at face value and like just go through the motions, really, which is what I need to do at the moment. Like, right now, I just need to go through the motions and just do the thing. And do whatever lets me do the thing more effectively. So if that means exercising, if that means waking up at this time, like that time, whatever it is, whatever gets me more of going through the motions right now is 100% where I need to be. So yeah, speaking of going through the motions, I'm going to go ahead and go to sleep. Tomorrow I'm going to be up working on, well, I hope my backend guy is up early as well, because we need to figure out this data dashboard, because I need this thing deployed way before 4 p.m. in order to work with it. And besides that, there's also the other thing that was meant to be shipped today, but because of the user ID, whatever problem, that wasn't done. So fun days. And then, yeah, so hoping tomorrow can be a big breakthrough. I think this month will be big because we'll ship a lot of things, and it's been a long time since we've like fully shipped something. And to be fair, you don't ever fully ship, right? Like there's always little appendages and bits and bobs and whatever, and that's the nature of development. But I think we will wrap some things up this month, specifically 3 things. There's 3 projects that need to be wrapped up, and I think that will, like, once I deliver those things, I think there will be a good degree of satisfaction of just being like, I'm proud of the work that we've done. Like, I think these are good projects. I'm proud and just happy to see them through and kind of see them, like deployed. And maybe we'll do maintenance or whatever, but we're not working on that like fundamental, like build it from scratch level again. And yeah, so I'm excited for that, but that just means this month will be hard. But I think one of the biggest difficulties, like mentally, the thing that maybe the idea that's causing me to kind of feel like it's more boring is the fact that we haven't shipped in so long. Like we haven't shipped and wrapped something up in such a long time because we've had like just long lasting projects, and that's a good thing. But like the fact that we haven't done that, and that it's been meant to be shipped last week and the week before, and like there were delays for various reasons, that it feels like it's been eluding me for a little while, and I'm just, part of me is like, oh, it's always gonna, the final shipment will always elude you, but it won't. Things will go through, and we will move into some other kind of work. And yeah, there's just these milestones that I really want to hit and I want to see through. So I'm gonna go to sleep excited about those things, and I have to make sure I stay excited, not pessimistic about those things. I think that's also a big difference. But yeah, gonna go sleep whatever I can in the meantime.